Hi, welcome to Paranormal Captivity. My main squeeze works at a hotel, and I have a few kind of weird stories to share with you about that. So of course there's always gonna be like little weird unexplainable things at probably every workplace. So you have instances of like monitors turning on and off by themselves on computers he hasn't used all night. Or there's cameras obviously in hotels, and there's a laundry room that has a completely black feed, but it has two little auxiliary lights that are just on two of the pieces of equipment in there. And normally, whenever something is caught in the motion detector, it turns on a little R in the corner of that camera's feed saying that it's recording due to motion. Every now and then, that room will read an R. Something had to break the distance between those two lights and the camera feed, but he's never seen anything in there and it's always black and locked. Not a clue. Even last night, for example, he was just chilling, reading. It's a pretty common thing at his work because there's a little bit of downtime. So he's just reading on his phone, and the TV in the lobby is distracting. So he turns it all the way down, goes back, keeps reading. A couple hours later, he hears the TV in the lobby, and it's the only TV he can hear from his location. Like all of the room TVs, even if they're turned up, you can't hear them. He knows it has to be the lobby TV, so he assumes there must be somebody out there. There's nobody out there, and when he goes back out there to turn it back down, it's back down. A couple specific stories that are just a little bit odd. Alex stepped outside one night about a week ago, I think, maybe a little more. He was having a hot chocolate, it was a nice brisk evening, and he hears this weird sound. He said it sounded oddly familiar and he can't place it, but it was like a whoosh pop kind of sound. He looks over trying to identify where this sound came from. He looks over at the hotel next door, and they have these like outside lights all along the sides so that people can see their cars and get into the building. And one side of the entire building's outdoor lights went off all at once. No other lights in the building went off. All of the other exterior and interior lights were on. Just that whole side went out. And he was like, wow, that's really weird. So he messaged me about it. And then just the other day, like about a week after that happened, he goes outside and it happens again, except there's no sound this time. Just the lights all go out. So he busts out his phone and he snaps a picture to Snapchat to me. Snaps the picture, he's typing out, it happened again, and he saves it. He sends it to me. Whenever he looks at the picture in his phone now though, the saved version of the Snapchat, the lights are back on. And whenever he finished the Snapchat and sent it, when he looked back up, the lights were on. But he knows that when he took the photo, the lights were out for at least a few seconds after he took the photo too. So that was just a little bit strange and creepy and didn't make much sense. Now there's one story that was just a little bit strange, and it was more the fact that everything happened all at once, kind of like our Glitch in the Matrix dinner date video where it seemed like everything kind of happened all at once and there was this weird perk up your senses kind of be alert feeling. That feeling went into this situation, but everything else about it was different. One night he's working. He works nights like I do. At night, the doors are locked. Whenever you walk into his hotel, there's like the double doors. The exterior one usually will still open. The interior one, he has to meet you and let you in after a certain hour. He happens to hear the exterior door, looks up, doesn't see anybody coming in the building and in the lobby like view from where he can see. So he glances at the camera feed that's right by him and he sees there's a guy just outside the doorway. So he thinks maybe it was just somebody walking by using the trash can or something. So he watches him for a minute and then he kind of goes out of camera view and the door shuts. So he goes back to browsing Reddit and hears the door again. And so he thinks, okay, well maybe the guy just was kind of walking back to his car because he forgot something and he's gonna check in anyway. So he glances back up. This time nobody's at the door at all to trigger it. And he's like, that's really weird. And then he gets that weird something's off, be alert kind of feeling. He starts hearing this noise. And after being in this hotel at night for so long, he identifies pretty much every sound by its noise and knows exactly what it is. So he hears what sounds like the second floor ice machine being used. And so he glances down at the camera feed again, but nobody is in the vending room. And there's ice just coming out of the vending machine, throwing itself all over the floor. So he's like, what the heck is happening? So he's got the weird vibe, he's got the guy who just disappeared, and then now he's got this ice machine that's just going crazy. So he goes upstairs, and he's like, well, if it did do what I think it did, I need to clean it up. So he goes upstairs and kind of checks out the room. Ice everywhere. He goes to get a wet floor sign, and as he's walking away, he hears what sounds like somebody getting ice out of the vending room. And he turns around just to go make sure. Nobody's in there, but the ice machine has thrown more ice on the floor. And he's like, what the heck is happening? And this ice machine is not one that has like a trigger where the ice vents from. The button for it is like up at the top. So you have to put your bucket in and hit the button at the top on this particular ice machine to make it vent at all. He goes and gets the wet floor sign, cleans up the ice, leaves it there. That's done for the night, but it did creep him out. 2 nights later, he's going and slipping receipts under people's doors. And he's on the 2nd floor walking by. He looks in the vending room, remembering what happened a couple days before, gets about 5 feet away, and he starts hearing the ice machine again. So he turns around, looks in the room, and there's just ice all over the floor again. He had to go clean it up. But this has never happened before or since this occurred, ever. So it's just a very strange series of events. I don't know if I would classify it as haunted or just weird or what, but it's just too much to not tell you guys. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. Have a super lovely, creepy Halloween, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!